Welcome to PAB 2012.
I'm black. And that's true. And you're white. Well, not exactly. I'm more the color of coffee with a little bit of cream thrown in by my German great-granddad. And you guys range anywhere from brown to red, depending on whether you're sunburned and how badly. But I'm not here to talk to you about race. Well, not exactly. Race is part of what I want to talk about. It's a big part in some places. But it's not the root of the problem. It's more like one of the symptoms. No, what I want to talk about is how way too many of us see the world in black and white instead of all the shades of gray in between, and why that's not all right. For example, we see ourselves as white and the Germans as black for what the Germans did to the Jews during the war. But we keep on forgetting all those gray days before the war when Jews fleeing the Nazis came to Canada and said, "Please, let us in. They're going to kill us." And Canadians said no, without a fuss. We paint Africa so black and backward that most of our journalists don't even think to cover stories like the guy from the Congo who invented the first African tablet computer just last year, because stories like that are too gray and too great. We paint people like Nelson Mandela white, forgetting that whole part of his life when he was blowing shit up. right? Because that's not what good white saints do, right? Especially if they're black. If he was blowing shit up, he must be bad, so the logic goes. But he's good. So let's just forget he was blowing shit up. Right? But the thing is that Nelson Mandela started blowing shit up for a really good reason, right? Because talking with his enemies, whether in or out of court, didn't stop them from killing more of the people that he loved. The people that he loved. The people who loved 17-year-old Trayvon Martin were just waiting for him to come home one night when an overzealous neighborhood watch guy in Florida spotted a black man in a hoodie, but saw only the blackest of criminals and shot Trayvon Martin dead. And closer to home, our own governments see things, see us in black and white. The Quebec government paints all student protesters in one big black block, right? And then they think it's okay to turn Quebec into a police state instead of just sitting down to talk. And the government of Canada, or sorry, our own government of Canada, oh no, I'm sorry, our Harper government tells us you can have a good economy or a good environment, but you can't have both. They tell us we need more prisons for the bad people and more tax cuts for the good ones. And they say, please, stop messing with the good people's guns. Big companies that make all the stuff that we love fall over one another to paint themselves white or green by sponsoring children's charities or filling their ads full of happy animated animals of all type. And we can't, or we don't, see all the gray that lies just beneath the hype. Walmart helps fulfill the wishes of sick kids by sponsoring the Children's Wish Foundation. And we think of them as white knights. But then, we can't, or don't, see the gray in the pay that they give each day to their women as opposed to their men. Or the way they were convicted of forcing hourly workers to work off the clock to keep labor costs down with their shelves full of stock. Coca-Cola uses cute animated polar bears to tell us how much they love the environment. And all that greenwashing and whitewashing means that we don't even think to look for the reports that are just a Google search away that show how they're draining Indian villages dry of their groundwater so they can sell them sugar water. And finally, we paint Joseph Kony 2012 as black can get. He murders defenseless African children or forces them to murder others. Now that's something that 70 million people can get behind. Black and white, safe and easy. You're guaranteed to be right. Now all this black and white stuff didn't happen by accident. No. From the day we're born to the day we die, we're fed fairy tales of good guys and bad guys, white hats and black hats, cowboys and aliens. No room for gray. But so what, you may say? So what if everyone sees the world in black and white? Well, the problem is that old saying, and I hope I get this right. Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. Well, it seems to me that those who forget the grays are doomed to repeat them. You all have the power to help people see things differently. So I ask you, today, help people take off their blinders and see more of the gray. Thank you.
There you go.